Hey everybody, this is Matthew with Riverponics. Today I'm going to show you a filtering system for filtering water, whether it be rainwater or for emergency needs, what have you. This is a pretty nifty little device. I built this a few years ago. I had it in my shed, so during the wintertime the freezing and thawing cracked the container, so you don't want to have this out in the cold elements and that. If you're gonna have something like this, you want to keep it in an environment where it's not going to get below freezing. But this is gravity fed and this thing works really well, so I'll explain the components of it and how to build it. Pretty cool. So the first thing is you want to drill a hole for a bulkhead fitting there, and then you got this is 1/2 inch PVC, no glue fittings, it's not needed. And so what you build out your fingers, okay? And then what you want to do is drill holes, little small holes all the way on each side of all the pipes, little drain holes, seep holes. And then you take small river rock and you apply about 3 to 4 inches in there to cover up your pipes. And then what I used was silica sand, and you can use other substrates like carbon, what have you, for filtering purposes for your water. And you fill the rest of this container up with sand to, I don't know, about that level, I'd say. And then you have your outside spigot. Okay, now your outside spigot, and this thing swivels and what have you. This determines your water level. Okay, so depending on what your height is on your spigot is what your water level is going to be. And the trick to this is to always have your water level 2 inches above your substrate line, your sand line in this case, your silica sand. And the silica sand I use is what they use for pool filters, okay? So you want at least 2 inches above your water line. And the purpose for that is you want to create an ecosystem within this container. Okay, so by having 2 inches of water above your sand line, you're gonna create the beneficial bacteria in there to break down all the pathogens and stuff in the water. All right. So the next thing, so once you get all that built, then I put this on there, and this is just gutter guard. Okay, and I attach it both ends, and then I put this screen over it too. Okay, and what that does is that's for dispensing. When your water dispenses in here, it dispenses evenly and doesn't disrupt the sand. So you don't want to disrupt the sand in there or any substrate you use. So that's why I use this gutter guard, so it disperses the water nice and evenly. So the next step is your container lid, and with a 5-gallon bucket, and there again you just put a bulkhead fitting on there, okay, and it attaches your bucket to your lid. And then you have this pipe here, and you just thread it in. Alright, and the trick is you want to drill 2 little seep holes there at the bottom. Okay, and you screw that back down. Screw that back in there. Alright, it's not cooperating with me. There it goes. Screw that back in there, and I also drilled a seep hole in there to create a vacuum as well. So what you do is take this container lid, put it on top of your filter. You would dispense your water in here, and those seep holes down at the bottom will slowly drain this container, and it'll drain down into your filtering system over that gutter guard and all that, and evenly disperse the water. And the pressure of the water entering this filter will gravity feed the water back out through your spigot, and it comes out clean water. Really that simple. It's pretty cool, and it works really well. So yeah, I hope I explained that well enough for you to catch the concept. It's not too difficult. One piece at that point, and then I'll show you the inners of the filter. And what I have here is there's river rock on the bottom of this. Now I'll explain all this here in a minute, but there's about 3 inches of river rock in the bottom of that container. Then the rest I filled with silicon sand, filtering sand. And I have this material here is for guttering. I put that across there, so as that water seeps out of that 5-gallon bucket, it comes across the screen and disperses nice and evenly, because you don't want to disrupt the sand in there. And what you want to do is you always want to have at least 1 inch of water above your sand line. And what that does is that creates good bacteria and promotes growth of the good bacteria within your sand. So it helps break down all the pathogens and stuff in the water as it filters through your sand. So once you build this, then you put your 3 inches of fine river rock in there to cover up all this. And then you add your sand and you fill it up. Well, what you have to do is you got to figure your height of your tube here. So you want that at least 1.5 inches above your water line. So that's something you have to figure out. And you have to figure out the amount of sand to put in there and all that. I could actually add a little more sand in here because I'm probably about 2 inches of water high, which it's fine. Not a big deal. It's not hurting anything. But it's a real simple gravity feed system. So I'll put this lid back on, and I'm going to try to fill this up with one hand. Yeah. There we go. Filling that up. Put my empty bucket right there on my spigot. You can see now that will drain real slow into the larger container, and it'll make its way to see that. Now that's already starting to drip, and it creates a nice little steady stream, and it filters that water real nice and clear. I know it's kind of hard to see with that black bucket, but let's see if I can get a better shot over here. Still hard to see. There you go. And you can see it's starting to drain, and I got that little screen on there just for direct that water. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's just a gravity feed system. I mean, this thing rotates. There's no glued fittings on the outside at all. I don't even believe I glued fittings on the inside of that for the fingers. It's really not necessary. Got a styrofoam piece there to keep it off the cold concrete in the wintertime. I imagine you can put all different kinds of, you know, besides silicon sand, you could probably use some type of carbon. Sure, there's a lot of other things out there. You just got to do your homework. But really, this is very simple. And when I had chickens, I would filter my water for all my chickens and stuff, and I would use this. But it's real simple. But you just need real little hole. But you want to make sure you put a hole there too, so it can create that vacuum. But that's about it. Have a good one.